Awesome. Thanks, guys, for joining this episode of Black Minds Matter. And we're doing a Black owned schools tour. And we're kind of in my backyard in Tampa, Florida, visiting Icon School. I'm in Jacksonville, guys. Yeah, I'm in Jacksonville. So we're both in the Sunshine State, and hopefully we get some more sunshine because it's kind of chilly up here where I am. But I'm so excited to be in the Icon School and talk to their founders about why they started the school. So I'll just jump right in and kick it over to you guys. Can you tell me a little bit about your dream and hope for the school and your background in education and a little bit more about you?
Yeah, so I guess I'll go first. My name is, and I want to apologize in advance if we have interruptions because we're on the school campus, and so we're going to be interrupted. We'll have kids coming in. Are you able to hear me? It says you're in the show. Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me? I can't.
Okay, I can now.
Okay. I was apologizing in advance because we're on campus, and so we will be interrupted. So,
Oh, that's even better. We'll get to
oh,
see
if
some.
you see me doing this, I'm telling you, get out.
That's
So,
great. Live and
well, my name is Dr. Rayford. I've been working in education for I'm going into my 22nd year. Well, this is my 21st year working in education. So I've worked in a variety of roles. Um, I worked as assistant principal, director of academics, area coordinator, regional coordinator, chief executive officer for another company that provided supplemental education services like after school tutoring programs to different schools around the state, not around the state, around the country. And so I worked in a variety of areas. I'm originally from Tampa, Florida. I'm a graduate of Florida A&M University. And I decided to come back home to start my first school as a result of the inequities that I've noticed and observed throughout my tenure in education, as well as experience with my own family members and friends and others who are negatively impacted by, I guess you say, a lack of education or the experience problems associated with not having an education. And so that fueled my desire and passion to want to be involved in the realm of education. And really quickly, before Mr. Smith's introduction, I know you said you're from Jacksonville. That's where we're planning to start our second school.
that's awesome.
So we're planning this year to move, to be coming to Jacksonville to get started. So
Oh, that's great. We need you. What side of town, if you don't mind me asking, if it's not
we,
too
we,
soon?
we're in the very beginning stages. So we've like incorporated the business. We're working on the nonprofit now. And so we're going to be coming to find a location, scope out
Come
the area.
It's pretty hard area, but there's nothing there. It's the area where I grew up, and we need you.
And now what you said, the east side?
East side. It's right by. It's. I would say it's great economically wise because that's right where downtown is. You know, it's by the stadium, historic center, but that little urban core,
Okay.
we need you.
We'll check it out, Mr. Smith.
All right, so my name is Justin Smith. I'm a native of Memphis, Tennessee. I also graduated from Florida A&M University. Been knowing Dr. Raiford for some years. I've been in education for about a little over a decade. I've taught PE, I taught math, eighth grade science. I've also coached like multiple sports. And I've been friends with Dr. Raiford for the past about 10 years. And he's always been talking about starting a school. And he invited me along the journey. So that's why I'm here today.
That's awesome. So you're the founding principal, and what's your role at the school?
My role at the school is director of registration. So I'm the founding director of registration.
Awesome. And so when you had this thought, you've been working in education for a while. What was that, what was the thrust behind you actually going through from like visualizing wanting to start a school to then actually doing it?
Yeah, it was kind of scary at first, to be honest. I was working as an administrator in California. And so quitting your job to move to start something else that's in your mind that doesn't exist is kind of
Yeah.
difficult. to do. There's nervousness, and you're kind of afraid at the beginning. And so I've been thinking about this for a while, and I was thinking then also, like, what if the kids don't show up? What if you can't sign anybody up? What if you can't find a building? What if you can't get the money? Like all of those things. But I decided that it was time to step out on faith. I felt like as I rose through the ranks in education, working for other institutions, that there was always this ceiling that I was not able to burst through, or I felt like my hands were tied with certain things that I felt like our kids needed that I wasn't able to do because of other bureaucracy and things associated with working for other institutions. So I felt like it was time for me to move on and start my own. And so I started working and put together a team that has been phenomenal in this process that really helped. So I was able to get a really good team that has expertise in a bunch of different areas. And so that helped us all come together well, I would say.
So let me get this right. You moved from California to Florida to start school.
Yes.
Why didn't you do it in California? I think I know the answer to this question, but why didn't you do it in California?
Well, I'm originally from Florida, and so I knew the area better. I know the need that's there, and I felt like my resources, particularly human resources, were better here because of the connections and people I know and knowing the area and those types of things.
Yeah. So it didn't have anything to do with the scholarship program, and there's actually like a.
Well, yeah, that too. It's not in California, so
yeah.
That
I just, like I said before we started, I was in Nebraska and I met this wonderful lady, and she wants to start an all girls private school, and she's just like. I shouldn't say girl, she's a woman, and she was like, in the process of just forming, the thought and the finances. Nebraska doesn't have a program, they don't have a charter school law either, and so it really would have to be like philanthropic grants and just going through a lot of stuff. And so that's why I asked them, like, California, there are charter schools though in California, a lot of charter schools in California.
Yeah, we both work for a charter school.
Yeah. And so when was your school founded? How many kids did you start off with, and how many kids do you have now?
Okay, so we started in 2018. So we moved back here to Tampa, and so we actually started planning and opened up within 8 months. And so it was So it was a quick turnaround with getting everything started. Initially, I planned on starting with me being the principal and maybe having 2 teachers. But when we got out and got on the ground and started meeting and talking to people and attending events, we had a much larger response than we anticipated. And so we opened that first year with over 200 students. And so that kind of shifted the thought process of what building we were going to be in and where we would be, kind of scaled things up a lot. I was thinking maybe 60 kids at first, and we started with over 200. Right now we have about 380 students with a waiting list of about 300 students.
Wow. So you guys are at capacity.
What's that? I'm sorry.
You're at capacity.
Yes.
Wow. And what's your population of student? And I know, Justin, you could probably weigh in here. Like, what's your population of student, your target community, and all that jazz?
We're at about 99% African American, and the other 1 or 2% of other, so Hispanic or other races.
Yeah. And what's your hope for students? You started the school in 8 months. That is very fast, and 200 coming doors open. That's really remarkable. What's your hope for students, and how is that maybe evolved now that you've been in operation and due to COVID?
Yeah. So our hope is that we're able to prepare our students for success in college and life. so that they're all ready and prepared to exceed in college. We started out with K through 5. And so each year we've added on. So we added 6th grade and we added 7th, and now we're adding 8th grade. We're maxed out in this building, but we're planning now to continue with our students that are able to score at the college level. We have some students right now that are 5th, 6th, and 7th graders that are taking high school courses. And so they're only in the 5th, 6th, or 7th grade. But by the end of this summer, they would have completed the 9th grade as far as credits with high school courses they're taking. So for those students, we're planning dual enrollment courses for them moving forward. So instead of leaving after 8th grade to go off to their high school, they'll start taking college courses and remain here. And then since we don't have athletics for our younger students, K through 8th, we have football, baseball, basketball, cheerleading, drumline, majorette, and all of those things. But we won't have that for students at the high school level yet, but they'll be able to participate in those types of activities at the local public high school. So I'm going to be looking into that as well. So that's one thing that's involved, is continuing keeping them beyond 8th grade. Initially, we were going to stop for now at 8th grade until we're able to get a larger facility, but we decided to keep some of those students.
That's fantastic. And I, now that I know you went to FAMU, I'm seeing the colors.
Yeah, so our colors are orange and green, and our mascot is the Rattlers.
Wait, you got the mascot too? Oh God. And so what advice would you guys give to, and first let me say, and for people watching, I'm going across the country, and Black Minds Matter, we have the first ever online directory of Black owned and founded schools. And it's just so, every time I interview a school founder or talk to them about their school, I just get more and more energy. And I know that this work is just going to be, just blow up all over the country. And yeah. But I say that because you guys are, Black owned schools are already a niche. We talking about Black owned businesses a lot lately. And of that, Black owned schools is such a little niche and doesn't get a lot of credit. And I haven't heard a lot about them. And then too, you guys are just like in high demand, like you guys are Black men founding a school. Like we just trying to get y'all to be teachers, like in the traditional districts. Like there's campaigns across the country just trying to get more men of color in classrooms. And so for you guys to be founders, that's pretty awesome. Like it's just awesome on every level. But I just wanted to say that because I feel like it's just great. Most of the founders that I've interviewed are women. There have been like a couple, maybe like several, maybe 4 or 5 men, but most of them have been women. And so I just want to say kudos, and yes, go all over the state of Florida. Don't just stop in Jacksonville.
And we do have a woman on our team as well. So, but 2 women, it was 5 or 6 of us.
Yeah. What do you guys have, or no, this one, any advice, to other people who are thinking about, opening a school? It could be a little bit intimidating. So any advice? And yeah.
I would say like get you a good team, a team you can depend on, people you can trust. Like Dr. Rayford, he came up with his own team of people that he could trust and depend on. I think that was a big thing with us starting in school. So get you people that you can really trust and depend on. That's the 2 biggest things I would say.
Yeah.
And I would say having faith and just giving it a try. It is scary, like stepping away, and especially if you're currently working or doing something else, to leave that to pursue something new that's not concrete. So something that you can't just step on and keep going. It takes a lot of faith to be able to do that.
Yeah. And talk to me. So are you guys a Drexel school? What was that? What was your relation with Drexel? And tell me a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, so we went through the process and we came to we were one of the finalists, but there were some circumstances or things that prevented us from moving forward with that process related to our I'm trying to see how to put it.
Oh
Some
yeah,
of the things.
yeah. Just talk to me about what Drexel is, or what even like. So you guys were in the final fellowship. Were you in the fellowship or?
No, we actually didn't go through the. So Drexel provides funding to help expand high performing schools that affect students of color, essentially. And so you apply, and they provide extra additional funding that you need to expand your school, whether it's to grow out, to fully grow it out, or to start a new school.
Yeah.
And so we went through all of the process and interviews and data reviews and all of those things to become a finalist for the Drexel program, but just certain things about the way we started that wouldn't allow us to continue to move forward at that point.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I thought you guys were one of the fellows, because I know they have a program for people who have ideas to become a founder, and they can do a year-long fellowship program to figure out how to. So I thought you guys were a part of the fellowship.
So they do that, and they also provide to help expand existing schools as well.
Yeah,
They're not full.
yeah. And so when you guys are, out and about, have you guys met any other people who are wanting to start schools? Have you guys met any?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
A few different people. Yes.
That's awesome. And so what, any books or resources that you can share with the audience about, like, anything that you guys, said, oh, well, this really helped me out in the beginning stages of starting a school, and that's is what I would share.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't a book, but it was a friend that had started, and he's no longer with us. He passed away a year ago, but it was a friend who was able to provide me with the guidance that I needed. So he kind of walked me through the process. So first you need to do this, then you need to do this. And so he was the person that I turned to for that guidance. His school has been around about 20 years. And so he was able to provide me with a lot of information and guidance to help me through that process.
So I'm hearing that, even you, Justin, say people. So it's like tapping into these high quality people who have the mental space to be helpful, have the resources, have the connections. I'm hearing that that's like a pretty big deal for Icon.
Yes, and that's the same for not only just the knowledge, intellectual knowledge that I received from someone else, but financial resources as well. And so we were able to come together and pool funds that we needed to get things started. So having someone who's able to provide you with that capital is essential as well. That's probably one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of people.
Yeah,
having funding that you need to get started as well.
Yeah. And how are your kids doing? How are they?
Everything's well. Everything's going well.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Can you tell me a story, maybe a student that's been impacted by your school, or like a memory from maybe the beginning stages, a turnaround story, or some yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of those. So a lot. There was a student who I was reading through his IEP, and I was shocked when I saw the information that was listed there and how often that student disrupted class and disrupted the learning environment based on the observations that I had seen, because he's totally different here. He came in a little rough, but he really turned it around a lot. There were other students that we have, multiple, that are taking high school courses now that never get in trouble at all, never have any problems. And I was shocked to learn that at their previous school, they were behavior problems. We just went through our accreditation process, engagement review the other day, and we had a parent who spoke and gave a testimony about how her son was not doing well at his public school. No. So, sorry.
We're actually in a school for everybody. We're actually doing a school tour.
So she gave a testimony about how the school wanted to put her son on medicine, and how he was having problems, difficulty. They wanted to diagnose him. And I didn't actually remember our conversation, but she said she
Yeah.
met me 3 years ago when we went to recruit at a baseball field, and that I told her not to put her son on medicine, to bring him and give him a chance, like let us give him a try with him at Icon. And now that student is a fifth grader who this summer would have completed the ninth grade when he's
Wow.
really a fifth grader. He's never in any trouble here at school at all, doesn't get in any trouble, any problem. So I was really shocked that they said that about that student, but that happens with a number of students.
Yeah. Yeah. Justin, you got a story? I know you deal a lot with the families.
Yeah, I have a lot of the same stories. Students that I've seen turn around that was kind of like at the beginning of when Icon first began. Students that came in kind of rough around the edges, but dealing with us for the past 2 or 3 years, they had a big turnaround. So
Yeah. What keeps y'all motivated? Because I'm sure at times running a school is not just teaching academics, especially when you're dealing with our babies. There's so much that kids deal with, and you have to be present and all of that. So how do y'all stay motivated? And do you guys have, personally, like, outlets that y'all are involved in to keep you grounded?
Personally, I get my motivation from Dr. Rayford. I never tell him this, but I see how, to me, he's like a perfectionist, and I'm trying to be that same with my position at Icon. So I watch him every day on a daily basis, being his, doing everything, putting in all the hours all the time, coming up with all these good ideas for the kids. So I'm like, take that in like every day, all day, and I'm trying to be that, be a better person too for myself. So he's my biggest motivation, I guess.
Thank you, because he doesn't tell me that.
But I watch you all day every day, so
Yeah, that's great, and it's good you have them like right there, and so that's awesome.
Yeah, for me, I'll say it's the new things that we do and the growth I see within the students. So being able to see, so when you think about it, like I had visions of having a school with a band, like a drum line and a band and those types of things. And when I see, right, when I see them marching down the street or marching in they just performed last weekend and doing well, those types of those types of things. Come back in a little bit. Come back. So
y'all remember the newscaster? Well, no, it wasn't. It was I was in a meeting once, and this guy's son came over and was like, "Hey, Dad, what am I gonna eat for dinner?" He's like, "I'm doing something right now." He's like, "Okay, like what am I gonna eat for dinner?" He's just kept trying to shoot him. I still need to know what I'm gonna eat for dinner. He's like, "Just go in there for something like."
Yeah, but I would say, so seeing those things, like as we expand and the different activities that we're bringing on board, for me, that's motivational. Seeing the growth in the students and them being able to grow and accomplish things. There's a big difference when we were looking at pictures the other day from the first year, and we were shocked how small some of the students look, but there's a big difference between 10 and 13. And so they look like little babies, and not for our 13-year-olds that were 9 or 10 when we first started. There's like a huge difference. And so to see them starting to grow and get to the point where they're almost going to be becoming adults soon, and to see their academic growth as well. I've sat with some of our students. All of our students are placed in college groups. Each of their homerooms, our top group is Harvard. And so I met with all of those students today, and we went through all of the courses that their transcripts. So I was explaining to them how to calculate a GPA, what the GPA is, and what the transcript is. Yes. And what the transcript is, so they can see those things, and to go over with them and show them, okay, by the end of this year, you all would have completed ninth grade. It's like phenomenal. Those types of things are motivational for me, especially when it's fifth and sixth graders.
That's right. You guys talked a lot about your staff people. How did you guys identify or how do you identify people who buy into your vision and your culture at Icon?
I don't know. I guess you just know. It's just feeling. So you just kind of know it, and they laugh at me. I say the principal, other leadership members, because I say I follow my spirit, but I kind of do. It kind of guides me, and but I feel like in the right direction. And so you just kind of feel those connections when you're going through the process of interviewing and talking with people. And so we have a very experienced team that's worked in education for a while as well, and so. They can kind of gauge. They're good at gauging, I guess you say, staff members that may be a good fit. We don't have a high turnover rate either for staff, which is really good. A lot of the other schools I've worked in previously had very high turnover rates. Some losing over half the staff in 1 year, and so we only lose maybe 1 or 2 teachers per year, which is it's a really good rate for us.
Yeah, that's great. And sometimes you discount your gut feelings, and it's like, don't discount those feelings, because those feelings are there for a reason. We have these intuitions for a reason, and we kind of stick to the books and follow the lands, the checklist. But your intuitions and those gut feelings matter. And so I want to ask you, why do Black minds matter?
You want to answer first, or you want me to go?
You said what?
You want to answer first, or you want me to go? Because I think your mind and your mindset is essential to everything you do and accomplish in life. How you think and approach, and the approaches that you take to life, I believe, are essential for you and what you do and what you accomplish. Having a positive mindset, looking at the glass as being half full as opposed to half empty, and being able to positively shape young minds and their thoughts and processes can really change that trajectory of their lives and where they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Black minds matter because if it doesn't matter, to us, then I think we'll all be a lost cause to the whole world. So it has to matter to us first, and just as a whole, as a people, a whole Black culture or whatever, it just has to matter to us.
Yeah.
My mind's kind of
obviously I agree. I'm with Black minds, but I think for me it's like I was one of the kids that was coming into school being so disruptive, and I failed the 3rd grade twice. I was that kid that you guys are talking about, and the kids that y'all see every day. And it wasn't until I was in an environment that really cared about me, like what you guys are doing for your students, that everything changed, that trajectory changed. And I became the first in my family to graduate from high school. And so it really is, like you said, that community piece. When we care, we really change the lives of kids. Like, we really can do it. And so I really appreciate with you guys is being, boots on the ground and changing individual kids' lives. And, we're going to see them being rattlers and, going off to college and living successful, beautiful lives, however that may look for them. And so I really appreciate the work that you're doing, and kudos to you. Anything you guys want to say, leave with the people about your school or about your individual, paths, perspectives?
I would say for those that are starting a school, as particularly for students, for Black minds, I would say that it's really important to have high expectations and high levels of accountability for those students. Traditionally, a lot of African American students have not fared too well, and within traditional schools, they haven't performed too well. They don't a lot of times have high expectations set on them. They're not held to those expectations, and you're not really pushed. And I think that's one thing that's key to our success here. We have mixed classes, so students are placed in courses in their classes based on assessment scores, and so you can be, and there's no limit to how much you're able to accomplish or how far you can go. Since we may have a second grader in a class with predominantly fifth graders. Like we have fifth graders that are taking high school courses. And so, but then it's giving them that push to continue to move and continue to grow. Some of them, again, a lot of them were not used to that at first. You weren't held to the high, and you're not used to being pushed. So it's not pushing them, and holding them accountable, but then also being able to nurture and be there to help them through that process when they are discouraged. And so really just carrying them through that process.
That's good. That's good. Justin, anything you want to leave with the people?
Yeah, I would say too, like pushing those, those black students or those black minds, because what I noticed too, since the beginning of Icon, a lot of kids coming into Icon from their public schools, it seems like they were just kind of passed on through. So I was seeing a lot of fourth graders and fifth graders not even knowing how to read, stuff they should have learned back in kindergarten, first, second grade.
Yep.
So a lot of those black minds were kind of like getting pushed to the side. But at Icon, we're pushing everybody. Like on day one, we're pushing you, and then your last day at Icon or whenever that may be, you're on grade level, you're on target. So something I would need too, like pushing those black minds and making them believe that they can achieve.
That's good. That's good. And I'm just noticed, I probably should have asked it. Where'd your name come from?
A couple of names.
Yeah, for me, Icon it's not an acronym, so it's actually used for the definition for our scholars to be an icon in their community, someone that's revered, someone that's and also being used as a symbol for success and excellence.
That's good. That's good. Go out and be an icon. That's right. That's right. I love it. Well, thank you guys again for joining, and hope to connect with you soon. Hope to come down and visit, do an actual school tour. And thank you.
All right, that would be great. Thank you.